Really. So we are still in the process because it's never taught in school. How do you train an agent on how to execute conversations on your behalf? We've
Yeah.
gotten very good at that in the last 12 months.
GTMAI podcast with Jonathan Moss and Coach K, where you get the latest with AI and GTM today.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It is I, Jonathan Carford, aka Coach K, and I am excited, pleased, privileged, honored, and humbled to have Brannon Santos on with me, the CEO of Peel, co-founder and CEO of Peel. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Great to be with you.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you. So we connected a while ago. I've seen your tech in action. I think we might be able to tease a little bit of a thing today, which would be fun. I love what you've done, like your background in growth and sales. You obviously remember in building with myself, you've been in sales for a lot. So I always love talking to CEOs who have that sales perspective because obviously you're very aware of the pain that you're trying to solve for. And I'm really excited to dig in. But before we do that, I always love the audience to get to know you more as a human being. So I'd love to know the non-resume, non-LinkedIn version of you and how you came to be where you are now. Give me that story.
Always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Literally chose the college I went to because they had an entrepreneurship program, which at the time was really rare. Now it's in a lot of curriculum, but never quite knew what I wanted to do. And that's why I entered the world of sales, because it was that central hub that touched every other department. I felt like if I could
Yeah.
learn sales, I could learn how a business is ran and I could be a good or better CEO at some point in the future. So that was like my pool there. Outside of what you can find on LinkedIn, live in Bend, Oregon, got 2 young kids, love the outdoors. If I'm not building Peel, which is pretty much eating up all my time, I'm with my family.
Right.
I'm not doing those 2 things, then you might find me on a river fly fishing. That's
Oh, nice.
and snowboarding if I'm not doing that. So love the outdoors.
Cool.
Try to get out there if we're not heads down working on Peel.
Fly fishing. I might have an old podcast because it looks like a blast, but I've never actually fly fished. So I need to come up to Bend, Oregon, and have you come teach me, man. I think I remember. Was it in? I think it was Chris Farley, one of his movies where he just fly fishing and picks his head. Funny.
Where he's like Lewis and Clark. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Like great.
I'm
I can't
watching it
remember what it
tonight
was.
now. Not
There you go. It's done. You got to watch it now. Let's get into it. So tell me about Peel. Of all the things you could, because as an ex sales leader and you're really in the space, like you're obviously ambassador of GTM partners, like I am. Like you're very aware of a lot of different problems you go into. So why, first, tell me what Peel is and why is that the thing you decided to focus on?
Peel is a voice AI layer that allows brands to more easily connect and engage with their audiences. I'll stay super high level at first, and then we can dive into some practical applications. But at its core, it's an agent having a conversation that is somewhat structured and scripted for a designed audience member. So you might put Peel on your website to ask the visitor why they came by, learn a little bit about their situation, and the agent can inform them and be helpful and guide them directly. The reason we built it was because we saw, having built many go-to-market teams in the past, just that friction that we feel when trying to get somebody to talk to a BDR, sales, or even CS. Like, we have to schedule, we have to be able to speak in the same language, similar time zones. There's a ton of friction. And these meetings that could take 5 minutes, take 30 minutes, because that's the calendar block that you put on there. That's the Zoom call that you have. People
Right.
today just want information and they want to engage when they want to. So we were talking to a CMO today that says, look, her calendar is completely full. She can't go do anything and have conversations with salespeople. She hasn't had a conversation with a salesperson in the last 15 years. When she's out shopping and hears about something, she's doing that at 11 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
B2Bs are open 9 to 5. There's no way to engage with her. They sure as heck want to. But if she had Peel, or if rather that vendor had Peel, she could engage with them anytime, share a little bit about her situation, and have
Yeah.
that product contextualized for her so she could learn something, and then self-direct her journey from there. Does she want to schedule something with a vendor? Great. Peel can help broker that intro for her. Does she want a trial? Does she want to do anything else? Peel can be helpful for that. So think of it as a concierge, an agent that is making it far less frictionless or frictionful between that brand and their audience.
My theme for this year is all about increasing velocity and reducing friction. That's my theme this year. Because it's fascinating. I've been looking at from the lens of pretty much all the things I'm doing of saying, where's my friction and where can I release that using AI or some sort of automation of some kind? And it's amazing how many things there's small little things. But as you do that, like it starts to speed up because you have all these things that were in your way. You're like, I can speed up with stuff, which is fun. In Peel specifically, what I'd love to have you do is talk about maybe you give a really good example of the CMO, the before and after. But when people are interacting with AI, a lot of people are, I've said this on a couple of podcasts where a lot of people haven't had this experience yet. So it's one, can they trust the AI can the company trust the AI to perform well? And then two, can the consumer trust the AI to give it accurate information? So that's trust factor there. And the other side is it's just so new that people just don't know what to expect because it's new. So when you've had that, both with people buying it and then people using it, what's been the interaction experience? Have you seen good things? People shy away from it? They like it? What's it been like?
Majority enjoy it. Majority feel like it was super helpful, that it was at least 10 times better than connecting with an SDR or BDR, not taking them down a notch at all. But just because the people wanted to get in and get out. They can do that very quickly with Gen AI, having that conversation and concluding when they want to. And then from the business side, the way that we pitch it and the way that we truly believe is this is just another doorway of access that your audience can walk through. You've got
Yeah.
all your doorways today. You've got the book a demo. You've got outbound reaching out to them. They can walk through those doors if they want to. This is another option. This is door number 3, right? Do you want to have an agentic conversation and see where that goes? So people, early adopters, are leaning into this both on the vendor customer side and on the participant side. But the feedback that we get is it was at least 10 times better than a survey, at least 10 times better than having another Zoom call. It was interesting. It was quick. We use a real-time model, so these conversations flow at human pace or even faster. And it's really capable, and the capabilities are growing every day. Literally, the agent will be able to demo platforms to the participants soon if that's what they want done.
That's cool. This whole thing's so fascinating to me. When you think about the possibility of the sales process now, when a lot of the times, like you go through the classic example of, I go onto a website, I book a meeting, it's with an SDR. I literally had this happen last week. I'm not going to tell you the company because everyone would know it. And I don't want to distance because I actually like them. But I booked a meeting, got with an SDR. They took 15 minutes, asked me questions, got on with the AE. They asked me the exact same question. And I was like, fuck. And I got after him, like, all these questions were asking me, why are you not listening to the call, wasting my time? I don't have time for this. I got after him. And I said, I don't know if it's a process problem or because you didn't have time. I don't know what it is, but don't waste my time. I was not happy. But when you think about that, that took a good 48 hours for me to have that experience. And I still didn't get the answer I wanted because I have to go for a call 2 to get the actual demo of whatever I'm trying to do. So when you look at that versus I can pop in at 11 o'clock at night and like, hey, this is a cool tool. Let me go check it out. And this AI walks you through it. That changes the game from a buying perspective, because then that means when someone actually books a call, they're in stage 4 versus stage 1. And so the AE's got to be really honed into that stage 4 type of conversation. Anyways, I'm saying all this, I want to bring up a question, which was the data that you're now getting from these interactions. Like, what is it you're seeing as far as patterns of either preparing the readiness of someone, or I don't know if that makes sense, but what are you seeing as that thing, and how should companies think about what they should do to prepare the humans for that change?
Great question. And if we back up a little bit, what we like to use is the bow tie framework.
Yeah.
Being a student of Winning by Design, I learned that framework, and I think it's the best representation of a true customer's journey. You have the awareness on the far left of the bow tie, and you've got that renewal on the far right. And there's different scenarios and typically different departments and different roles that are conducting conversations with the customer throughout that funnel, that two-sided funnel, the bow tie. There's opportunities to have agentic conversations for every segment in that. And when you come to Peel and you build a conversation, that's the first interface you run into, is telling the AI which section of the bow tie will it be having this conversation on your behalf for. So I say that to say these conversations are completely malleable to where you want to put them in the customer journey and the type of questions or goals that agent would have in that conversation. What we see in the awareness column, to continue forward with the analogy that we've been using on the website or you send this ahead of a demo that you have upcoming, you can get discovery done in 5 minutes. Like that
Right.
experience would have been so much better for you if you didn't have to talk to the SDR and then they didn't repeat themselves when you talked to the AE. You wasted
Right.
really 45 minutes of your day. Could have been done in 5 minutes really elegantly with Gen AI asking you these questions, digging
Yeah.
deeper where it needs to, so that AE comes prepared to show you value from minute one rather than,
Yeah.
again, wasting your time. They literally get a Slack notification. Jonathan's just completed his conversation. Here's the tear sheet. It's broken down into their sales methodology so they completely
Yeah. That's cool.
understand what you're looking for and what's going to move the needle in the conversation. And frankly, they can reach out ahead of time and say, look, Jonathan, I looked at your Peel conversation. I don't think we're a great fit. I don't want to waste any of your time. Here's the reasons why. Or, hey, in preparation of our call, here's a case study. Check it out. They had the same situation you did, and they got the same impact that you're looking for. I can't wait to show you this. And now,
Yeah.
talk about excitement level ramping up pre-call. That's what we hope for. We're literally building a Chrome extension so sales reps can send out Peel ahead of the call to do that exact. At least we
That's
just
cool.
yeah.
That's really cool. Do you see a world where, because like when I hear this as an ex-enablement person, I'm thinking, ooh, it'd be cool if an agent did that thing for you. So like literally the only thing that a human has to do is show up to the call and be like, let's chat. But all the email's been written, the content's been sent out, like all of it's been customized, which would be fat. Do you see yourself going to that world at all? Like having an extra layer, at least integrating with something that could do that?
Look, I have such empathy for BDRs and account executives. There is a big job to be done beyond
Yeah.
just the demo, which can be done. Discovery and demo can be done with agents today. Tomorrow, negotiations, legal, all the things can be done as well. We're not necessarily building in that direction, but I do think, hot take, the complete enterprise sales cycle could be done by an agent in a year from now, something like that. But what AEs do is they quarterback the deal. They have to bring internal resources to match peer to peer with the buyer side that also has to get stakeholders around this purchasing decision. There's a whole herding motion that has to happen in addition to building conviction and building the business plan. So we think about those. We think about taking the hard sort of work that can be programmatically done by Gen AI, doing that in the most easy consumable fashion for both parties and giving them both value. One feature that we're really excited about is Peel rooms, very similar to deal rooms, right? After an AE has a conversation, they create this deal room.
I love the
Integrate.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Keep going.
They create these rooms that they'll drop the Fathom or Gong recording in, they'll drop their notes into, they'll drop some helpful assets and case studies into, they'll even begin to create the mutual action plan. Here's the steps that we have to take, that commonly we have to take to get the deal done. So that's all in there. That's nice. I think that's incredibly helpful. We used to do that out of G Drive and a Google Sheet, and it wasn't pretty for either party, but we did it. Now it's nice packaged SaaS. So after you have a conversation with Peel, the customer of ours, the sales rep, gets the tear sheet, understands completely, can listen to the call if they want to, just like a call recording software. But the participant gets that Peel room automatically generated for them. It's got all that they discussed, the value points that could be provided by this vendor, the case studies, the different things. What's really cool though, is now they can invite their other stakeholders to have that same conversation they just had.
Yep.
Now we can see at an account level how we're thinking about this problem and the ROI they're expecting from choosing a vendor and where does this vendor match up. And everybody can use this central resource as an asset to understand the problem better, understand the solution and the fit better. And it's a highly collaborative point there that nobody had to click a button for. Like the agent just built that room
just there
for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing's cool. So I think about, there's another tool that's like totally separate from this, but it's like a tool called Cove. Very similar to that is Notebook LM. Kind of like that stored, centralized place you can ask all the questions to. It's just a freaking cool use case to mix that stuff up. So having that for all the conversational data, having in one place would be way cool with contents. I like it. We'll do this. We're about, we got some time left, 50 minutes left. You want to show off some stuff? Show off some tech?
I'd love to. One use
Let's
case
do it.
to talk about that I'd love to.
Yeah.
for you, pick the best window for this, is this idea about interviewing anyone, everyone, and then bringing back all those interview conversations and wrapping it around a central topic and creating what we call studies. A customer of ours ran this study recently, then went on stage at B2B MX last week and said, hey, we knew that we were giving this presentation. We knew that we could go look at assets and data points that exist on the internet today and build our slides around that. But what we felt would be far more interesting and far more compelling is to interview everyone through agents, through AI, so there's no biasy in the question asking or the conversations that take place. And then we're going to analyze it with AI, and we're going to create a piece of content, and we're going to present that all to you. That's what they did. It is a marketing agency that did this. And what they were poking at and teasing at was, how does sales feel about the leads that they're getting from marketing? And they were cute with their naming, and they called it, Do My Leads Really Suck? And they sent this to a bunch of sales professionals, and 38 started the conversation, 30 people completed the conversation, and they were able to, with a few clicks of a button, let me see, I probably got the study right here. A few clicks of the button, they were able to create a really compelling study that combined all 30 conversations. We can play clips from this. We can see all the participants that took place in this. We can share this socially with an open graph. It'll display it, and we can get more people to participate. You can lock these down, and for the price of admission, they have to participate in the conversation. They can specify whether their information gets included in the study or if it's anonymized, or first name only. This type of analysis today costs thousands of dollars and a month's review, and a designer, interviewers, scheduling, etc. With Peel, you come in, you talk about the goal of the conversation. It creates a link. You send that link out socially or through email. People asynchronously have the conversation. You click another couple buttons, boom, you've got a study that's incredibly compelling, that can live forever. And as more people participate, if we come back to this tomorrow, it'll be updated with everybody that participated overnight. So it's a living, breathing, a living, breathing report. We think it's highly compelling. It's interesting. It's not using AI like you would ChatGPT, where you're asking it questions and it's looking at the corpus of data. Rather, we're using AI to create a whole new corpus of data that's from the humans, and it's not existing in the world today. So think of it as something far elevated above a survey and a little less than a human-to-human deal, and that's where we're at.
I'm curious so I've ran it with Rise, which is a research insight-based organization. We've run a couple of Qualtrics surveys because that was before I knew you existed. And in there was, I have a doctor who does data analytics, and so he runs it through some data analytics, actual software and all this other stuff. And he talked to me about, I can't even remember the terms. He would hit me if he knew I couldn't remember them because he's pounding in my brain. But there's like data analytics algorithm things you have to make sure it's good. Like the R's measurement, I can't remember what it is. I used to know all this stuff off the top of my head. It's been a long day. Anyways, point is though, is that you have to have this quality of data to make sure that you have the right amount to be able to show correlation, causation, prediction, prescription, all this other stuff. So does yours, I know this is totally random, does yours have the ability to do that kind of analysis on chats?
It can. Statistical significance might be a term that he would use.
That's it. That's it. You didn't smack me for anything. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's different he would know far better than I. There's different sort of denominators that you need to arrive. What is the true amount of insights we need to be statistically significant? But yes, this is inherent with LLMs, at least the LLMs that are out there today. They can do that type of analysis, and we definitely utilize that. But I would say that what we're trying to put out there is qualitative and quantitative analysis, but far more leaning on the qualitative side. There's great research reports out there. Go look at those if you want to. But if you want to quickly get the perspective of a bunch of your ICP in the least friction way possible, and you want to do it within your four walls, right? Not hire an agency to go do this. We're
Yeah.
creating this asset that you can do it in a day or less for far less than what you would have spent. And yeah, it's qualitative interviews mostly. We just put in the ability to have multiple choice throughout the
Right.
conversation as well. So we can get that quant and build graphs very easily from the data set as well.
Yeah. This is the part I think is pretty rad because I'm thinking a lot about this, like the data that exists that is hidden or not accessed. So one of them is just the data you can get from customers, prospects, whatever the case might be, even like through a website conversation.
Yep.
You have this statistically significant amount of data from just website conversations that then gives you all this information as a marketer and as a salesperson of what can actually help you. That thing is like fascinating. So with that in mind, without naming any names, obviously, have you done any type of analysis where you can see patterns inside of different customers of that kind of thing, saying, we know that this is a good flow that works, or what can you share as far as that kind of thing?
Totally. So we are still in the process because it's never taught in school. How do you train an agent on how to execute conversations on your behalf? We've
Yeah.
gotten very good at that in the last 12 months. So we are still doing white glove professional services with our customers where we're helping them design the conversation. And just to give
Yeah.
a couple best practices there, because it is very similar to how human to human conversation happens, don't start off with really invasive questions that are difficult to answer. Start off with easy softball questions that somebody can respond in a closed-ended way. Yes, no. Ask personal questions because most people like to talk about themselves and they can easily do. So that's
Right.
always section one. Section two dives into the problem a little bit more and what's on their mind at that time. That's really what we're trying to have conversations about, is not something in the past or something far out in the future, but hey, what are your Q1 2025 goals? How is your team achieving those today? Oh, good. Great. What are you exploring to exceed those goals in the future? Oh, not
Yeah.
on track? What are you exploring to help you get back on track? So it can be very dynamic. I specifically mentioned that question that we ask. Assume that's hanging off your website and you're talking to RevOps leaders. Well, after 30 people have gone through that process, you can start to pattern match. Oh, everybody's goal seems to be hiring go-to-market engineers, just to use
The
an
term. Yeah.
answer, right? That's like
Yeah.
super topical. Now the marketing team catches that and says, ooh, interesting. You asked that question, then you asked this follow-up question. We can write a whole piece about that. And we can show that we're thought leaders in this subject. And then they put the
Totally.
study out there, they get more people to participate in that study, and it's a flywheel effect for them.
That's rad. I love that kind of thing. Like, I could geek it on that for a while. With what's coming and how fast AI is changing, I know you're doing things like peel rooms and other stuff, but
Yeah.
whether it's with your tech or tech in general, like what are you looking forward to or hoping that will happen this next year that you'll either implement yourself or just want to experience?
Good question, man. Stuff is moving incredibly quick. I think about all the friction that we had carrying a bag 10 years ago and all the things that we needed to do. We obviously see technology out there helping you build a list, craft the message, bring you signals of intent about real-time things that are happening in your prospect's world that you can speak about eloquently. I think about it from the buyer's perspective rather than the vendor's perspective. I want
Yeah.
to make their lives as easy as it is in their consumer lives, right? Like when we walk into a store, somebody's there to, how can I help you? We don't have that
Yeah.
in B2B for good economical reasons. We can't have our expensive salespeople talking to just anybody. They need to be qualified. That's why we did the forms and all that stuff. That's why you had to book a demo and go through an SDR and then talk to the AE. It was to make
Right.
sure you're a qualified buyer and you earn the right to get on the AE's calendar. With Gen,
Right.
we disrupt all of that. We get to bring the conversation right onto the marketing website. So I'm selfishly excited for the day when I can go to websites and I can have a conversation and I don't need to talk to a human. I can do it at midnight in my bed. That will feel far more like my consumer life while I'm trying to support my business. And I think
Right.
the blending of those worlds is happening faster than ever. And that's what I'm excited for, to answer your question.
I have to agree with you because, like, I think there's been so much talk on like how do you get more pipeline and agents doing emails and SDRs and helping people with coaching and AI role plays and all sorts of stuff. But there's not very many going out to the buyer. I keep thinking to myself, what would that be like to have something to enable the buying experience to be better and it was actually on behalf of the buyer? So I've thought about this like having the appeal, but on the other side. So instead of it being on the marketing website, It's for me as a user. And I say, okay, Peel, go out and talk to this website for me, come back and tell me what you find out. And then let me know what you got. Like that kind of thing is, we're already there with Perplexity prompting. So I don't think it's going to be that long until we have that, but that's going to be a world where I think things are going to change dramatically in a cool way. So
That'll totally be there. I just read a post by a notable VC today that's investing in agent to agent. He makes the argument there's B2B, there's B2C. Why isn't there agent to agent? We need to be building those frameworks because Peel will be living on that website and your shopper agent will go talk to Peel and bring the information. It's going to happen. I'm really excited for that, but I still think that requires me to go set up my agent. And that's probably just not a behavior that the masses are going to do. So why don't we this voice layer to everything where that human would go anywhere? That's what we're building for.
Yeah, it's kind of like with even like operator. People can have operator go into a place, and even though technically operator can't go and have a chat, like it wouldn't surprise me if soon it can. Because then it becomes a very easy prompting, go do this thing, operator, and come back to me and talk to me about whatever thing. So that's going to be a crazy world, I think. Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to end with a random question, but I want to ask people, which is, besides your tech, what's the AI that you're using, you personally, and inside your team?
Still, the conversational intelligence is the thing that gets used every day. If we're talking about application layers that my team is using to perform better, faster, customer.
Anything, either individually or team, anything you got.
Yeah. Then it would be that. Of course, I have a tab open for ChatGPT or other LLMs, and I'm constantly interacting with that. I'm asking it to ask me questions so it can better. That was the hack. That was the hack maybe 3 weeks ago or longer ago, was like, before you perform this task for me, ask any clarifying questions, and it'll ask those. And the output of those are just so much better and so much more on point because we as humans forget to provide all the context up front. Right. So I've got that open tab. I would say it's the conversational intelligence, something that I know that you know really well and help people with, but taking disparate data sources, putting it into a data lake and querying that data lake, that's where it's at, right?
Yeah.
So we do
You guys do that now?
We don't do that with providers. We just simply do it with LLMs, right? We'll give it the content, whatever can fit into the context window, or if we get fancy, we'll set up a RAG and then we can query that information. But yeah, trying to figure out from the last 10 demos we have, what were the points of friction? What were the aha moments? How can we bring those up front? Those are conversations that we're having with ourselves with the assistance of LLMs. Yeah.
Love it, man. Yeah, I know it's more capable now more than ever because, like you said, I'm in the space with momentum, and so the buy versus build conversation happens all the time because it's more possible now. It's really easy for someone to set up whatever RAG or Make or Zappy automation, whatever the case is, to get that kind of stuff. But what I'm finding more interesting, this kind of goes along to appeal as well, is again that data you get from a conversation, whether it's with an agent on the website or whether it's in human interaction. There's so much stuff in there that I'm still finding new ways of getting more and more data. I'm like, ooh, I can ask this question about this data set, and then opens up this whole new can of worms in a good way of different stuff. I would feel like the thing with Peel, you'd have that same insight of saying, you have this idea 2 weeks from today, and you go back to all these conversations, you go, oh, there's all this gold here. I didn't even know it was here. I just love that kind of thing.
Or think forward, right? Like we can experience this question in here. Let's see what happens. You said momentum. I didn't know if I could mention it, but I think you're ready.
You can.
A couple. I think you guys are so well positioned, man. Nobody's going to go do the RAG system on their own. Everybody's
it's tough.
A vendor that has SOC compliance and all the bells and whistles. And to bring all those disparate things into play and query that information, I think that's you're silly if you're not doing that.
Yeah. What's going to be cool, this is my view, but it's like when you have a tool like Peel that would integrate with a tool like Momentum, and then it works with your content piece, that works with your all these will go from, I don't know if integration is the right word, some sort of agent communication to where you have this layer of agents that just talk to each other about stuff. That's the world I'm like, that's freaking cool. So if I had Peel that can automatically talk to Momentum, that would then talk to my rep automatically or do whatever connections there are, along with my account research agent and my writing agent and my whatever. I just am like geeking out on that. I don't know what the world's going to look like, but it's going to be awesome when we get there.
The revenue enablement leader, right? Like it sounds like you carried that responsibility at one point. I did as well. I had to go mine through Gong, and I set up so many trackers to help me better align with product marketing. Can you imagine an agent that is flagging, hey, it seems 3 reps last week answered this question improperly. Let's create a card for them and let's quiz them, right? Like that is
Yeah.
not far away. That's tomorrow.
Yeah. I could. What I think could happen is going to be fascinating. But there's another one. Oh, so I'm going to give one more because I'm fascinated by this. The learning world, what's the name of it? Is like you go through this onboarding process where it's step by step, and step 1, step 2, step 3. But not every salesperson or customer success person at the same place. So I imagine this world where the AI would have some sort of assessment ability to do an assessment and jump forward or based on queries and make their own, like this whole learning thing is going to change to where it's not this stagnant, watch these 15 courses and these steps, but more of what do you want to learn? And let's go. And after an assessment of your personality, where your strengths are at, that's going to be, I'm really looking for, I've even considered building that because I'm like, oh, it'd be so much fun to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Go
So,
for it, man. Go for it. That's
Yeah.
like default advice. If you've got inspiration to build something and you can mock up something in a day or two, go do it. But man, you gave me the anxiety. I used to have that spreadsheet where I analyzed the aptitude of every rep on multiple levels and maintaining that thing and trying to build coaching programs around individual reps and where they were at. What a headache that was, and what a responsibility. What an important thing it is to do. But man, how easy it is now or tomorrow.
I tell you what, I still have nightmares of those days too. Because I have spreadsheet nightmare watching, I don't know how many gong calls, eating pizza. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's my 15th one today. Yeah, it's just crazy. But
yeah,
my man, Brannon, I am super excited where you guys are going. Love your tech. I'm hoping by the time it's come out, I'll have a demo from you. So if people want to see a more in-depth demo, there's there from all the different things you guys can do, which is fascinating. But I just want to say thank you. Oh, Peel, tell me your website, best way to get in contact with you. What's the best way?
getpeel.ai is our website. LinkedIn's the best way to probably reach out to me. I'm on there daily. So yeah.
Love it, man. I of course, I want to make sure the links are in the show notes, but just in case someone's listening and they're driving or something, I want to make sure they can hear this and get in touch with you. But thank you. I'm really excited for this. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to when our agents can talk to each other. We'll have a different conversation next time. So
Sounds great. Thanks, Jonathan.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening to the GTM AI podcast. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment, and come back for more.